What up, what up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now that you tuned in, let's begin with Infinite J's recent trend. Right now, we have Elvis Presley. Everything Elvis got wrong about Elvis, right? This is the story behind Elvis. So, for all you guys who've been rocking with me on this Elvis journey, here's another one out of the box. Okay? Okay. Son. Got some mail, baby. Okay. All right. That's neither here nor there. All right, you guys. Let's get you guys over to the big screen. Let me get these headphones. Let me adjust y'all. I had somebody coming in tampering with my equipment. Yeah. All right. Headphones check. All right. That's right. All right. Let's get this video. Hey, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. On my shoulder cut off right there. I don't like that. Let's not do that.
Drug use, death threats, and secret identities. Baz Luhrmann's Elvis Presley biopic takes a few liberties with the truth and leaves a few major things out. Here's everything Elvis gets wrong about Elvis. As the film begins, Elvis has already cut his first hit record, That's All Right Mama, but it's his appearance on the syndicated country music radio show Louisiana Hayride that makes him a star and brings him to the attention of former carnival barker turned music promoter Colonel Tom Parker. The headliner in Hayride is longtime country star Hank Snow, who is aghast at the way Presley gyrates in front of the crowd.
We have Hank Snow, but we actually have Tom Hanks. That's Tom Hanks. Not this guy. Not this guy. Or that guy. Or not that guy either. Neither one of these guys. Y'all know who Tom Hanks is.
Later, when Parker convinces Elvis to strike out on his own, Snow seems all too eager to see the young man gone. Snow's reaction works as a symbol of how the musical establishment of the day was threatened by Presley and rock and roll in general. However, in real life, Snow was no prude. Both he and Parker saw the money-making potential in Elvis early on, and the two even co-managed Presley's career for a short time. As his son Jimmy Roger Snow noted years later, Snow had every financial reason to make Elvis as successful as possible, even allowing Elvis to close out their shows. Snow's exit from the Elvis Presley story in real life came at the hands of Parker, who used Snow to sweet-talk Presley's family into signing.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that wasn't Tom Hanks. That's my baby. Toodles noodles.
Doodle noodles.
Over here, you keep getting it wrong. On this side.
Huh?
Right there.
Doodle noodles.
See, you don't know how to. Bye, Faith. Goodness, girl. L. My children, y'all. My children.
Signing a new contract before cheating Snow out of his share. As biographer James Dickerson told the New York Post in June 2022, Hank Snow said that Parker was the lowest human being that had ever walked the earth. The contract that in real life cheated Hank Snow out of managing Presley's career is presented as a kind of deal with the devil in the film. Presley's manager Colonel Parker is seen pouring honey into the ears of Elvis's parents Gladys and Vernon to convince them to sign. At this point, Parker has already masterminded Presley's move from the regional Sun Records to major label RCA Victor, and he solidifies his control over the entire family by having them sign into existence a new business called Elvis Presley Enterprises. Elvis's father Vernon, who had been jailed for check forgery when his
That's Tom Hanks. And then they got Tom, this other guy. Then they got this other guy, Hank. That was all done intentionally. Why are these girls coming in here bothering me? They like to mess with me when I'm busy. Come on. That's my baby. All right.
His son was a boy would be his business manager. Gladys is skeptical of the colonel and would remain so up until her death in 1958. Ultimately, she signs a contract anyway when Parker coos about Elvis having the strength of two men, a knowing reference to Elvis's stillborn twin brother Jesse. Parker did indeed have Elvis and his family under contract, with Vernon serving as the manager of Elvis's personal business. But the business venture known as Elvis Presley Enterprises, or EPE, wouldn't be formed until after Presley's death. EPE was founded by Vernon, the Presley's longtime accountant Joseph Hanks.
Seems like this is always the case. Like, people constantly conduct business after you've passed away, either because they know they can profit off your earnings, of your hard work, or because they want to keep your legacy alive. Either way, they're still benefiting. Someone is still trying to benefit off your name. You know what I mean? Now we have an ad that's coming up. Probably should have waited to speak on that while the ad was playing. Not my ad. My ad's coming too, but it's neither here nor there. Okay.
And Elvis's ex-wife Priscilla Presley as a way to preserve and manage his estate.
So, you want to change the world?
Yes, I do.
Something that makes people go, problem is...
There's no problem. Just do it.
One of the most controversial aspects of Presley's life and legacy is his relationship with blues music and Southern African American culture in general. Baz Luhrmann's film suggests that Elvis's use of black music and culture was appreciation, not appropriation. The movie works hard to convey that the musician discovered blues and gospel sincerely, with flashbacks showing a young Elvis in a black Pentecostal church in Mississippi. Meanwhile, the scenes of Elvis's early days in Memphis show him on Beale Street, surrounded by the sounds of Little Richard, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, and Big Mama Thornton, whose hit song Hound Dog would become one of Elvis's signature tunes.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. It's kind of ironic. Now, y'all know I don't like to use the word ironic, but I use it when necessary. It's ironic how I was always reciting that lyric. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Not knowing it was Elvis. I was just saying it because it's one of the most iconic songs, I guess you could say, or one of the most prominent songs out there, or one of the most used to have been hearing tracks. Furthermore, I've been saying that lyric months prior to me even documenting anything regarding Elvis. So that's why I say I find it fascinating, because I didn't even think I was going to embark on this journey. You guys brought that to this channel, and I just allowed it to manifest. See what I'm saying? Because of what you guys' effort has been, how you have contributed to the channel. So, anywho.
The film also gives Elvis a friendship with blues legend B.B. King, already a well-known
I didn't
musician
know
at
that.
the time,
That's
who
neat.
used Presley's fame with a certain riot attachment. However, according to biographer Alana Nash, this relationship seems to have been extrapolated from a famous photograph of the two men backstage at a Memphis charity show. Presley did not play at the show, but appeared briefly on stage and gave the crowd a little leg
I like
shake.
that leather jacket.
In real life, King appears to have been fond of Presley on a personal level, if ambivalent about the success Elvis and other white artists had adapting black music.
Elvis was very shy when I first met him.
But there is no evidence that the close friendship portrayed in the film ever existed in real life. In just a few short years at the end of the 1950s, Presley went from transgressive provocateur to clean-cut all-American family entertainer. In the film, this is orchestrated by Colonel Parker against Elvis's will, starting with a humiliating performance on The Steve Allen Show where he performs Hound Dog with an actual dog on stage.
I got you a very cute little hound dog right
Actual
here.
hound.
Protesters line the streets outside Graceland waving signs that read, "Don't change Elvis," and "We want the old Elvis back." At a pivotal show at the Memphis Fairgrounds, after being warned against wiggling by both the Memphis police and his manager, Elvis's performance is so intense that it causes a riot. Elvis is taken away in a police car and is threatened with jail or a stint in the army. While the Steve Allen performance is based on a true story, the Memphis Fairground riots is a composite of several different concerts. Most notably, during one show in Jacksonville, Florida, a local judge warned Presley against any lewd behavior. But the film gives the impression that Parker altered Elvis's image under the threat of blackmail from shadowy establishment forces, which is untrue. Biographer Alana Nash told Variety, Parker wanted to make Elvis clean cuts after he came back from the Army, in part because when Elvis went into the Army, neither Elvis nor Parker thought rock and roll would last. Elvis especially thought that it might even be over by the time he got out. From 1956 to 1969, Elvis Presley starred in over 30 Hollywood movies. His film work dominated his career for the bulk of the 60s, which Baz Luhrmann glides over via a zippy montage. The film seems to believe that Elvis's Hollywood years were filled with hokey kitsch that bears little resemblance to the transgressive
Tom Hanks, I knew it.
art.
Austin Butler. Tom Hanks. I have to see that. And a lot of you guys have been putting that in the description, which I had no inclination towards. This right here. TCB. Which I just realized what that was. That's dope. But nevertheless, Tom Hanks. I knew I was right. Oh, I wasn't tripping. All right.
Hollywood years were filled with hokey kitsch that bears little resemblance to the transgressive, inherently political artist he was at heart. In 1968, however, his conscience is stirred by the assassinations of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in April and Robert F. Kennedy in June. After King's assassination in Memphis, Priscilla suggests that Presley should release a statement telling him that Memphis is burning. While King's murder sparked riots and violence in major cities across the country, the public reaction in Memphis was more muted. Hampton Sides wrote about King's murderer James Earl Ray in the 2010 book Hellhound on His Trail. Sides explains that the first night in Memphis after the murder had isolated incidents of violence and looting, but where the riots in other cities lasted nearly 2 weeks after King's death, Memphis fell into a eerie calm.
2 weeks of rioting? That's serious. Yes, I know y'all are going to jump in them comments and be like, well, what happened in 1960 and 19... Of course, I wasn't there. I don't even think I was a spectacle in my father's eye. They taught minute instances of what took place, and again, that's even one of those things today where we're not being educated on everything historically that takes place, right? I mean, how can you teach kids all of what took place? But there are some schools where they have sprinkled bits and pieces of what took place in history. Hence the calendar, Martin Luther King Day and things like that. But I didn't know this riot took place for the duration of 2 weeks. That's crazy. My kids are in there wilding. Hold on. Let's begin.
Or a deep mourning instead. In the movie, Elvis is in the midst of filming a television comeback special when Robert Kennedy's assassination occurs in June 1968. Colonel Tom Parker has explicitly sold the show to NBC as a Christmas special to be aired in December. However, Elvis wants to use the special to get back to his rock and roll roots and chart a new way forward in his career. Against the Colonel's wishes, he ditches the Christmas sweaters for a black leather jumpsuit. The resulting concert film, commonly known as the 68 Comeback Special, is a smash hit and latter-day triumph for the King.
There's been a big change in the music field in the last 10 or 12 years.
However, Presley and Parker's clash is largely invented for the film. In real life, the special was never meant to be a Christmas special, other than by virtue of airing in December. Biographer Alana Nash told Variety, "There was never a Christmas sweater or fairy tale Christmas set. That's Luhrmann being a showman." In the movie, after the success of the 1968 Comeback Special, Presley is riding high and dreaming big. He announces plans to finally tour the world, but first Parker books him into a weeks-long gig at the brand new Hilton International Hotel in Las Vegas. The Vegas residency is a huge hit and gets extended. Presley continues to plan his global tour, but Parker has grave concerns about securing Elvis's safety overseas, especially once startling death threats start showing up in the mail. The real reason Parker is delaying the start of the international tour is because he's an illegal immigrant and fears being deported if he ever leaves the country. The film heavily suggests that a slew of death threats received by Presley were staged by Parker in order to support his bogus security concerns about traveling abroad.
Are you ready to fly?
We may never know if some of those death threats were forgeries by Colonel Tom, but thanks to the FBI, we know that many of them were very real. From his earliest days on the national scene, the FBI kept careful tabs on Elvis and his activities, as director J. Edgar Hoover feared that he might be a corrupting influence on the nation's youth.
And so, as we have noted, or we have come to realize when it comes to the FBI, considering JFK over there, man, that was based off political issues, right? Like what I've gathered, being on this channel, how he got involved with certain political activists. I can't speak much on this because I don't have all the details, of course. But what took place was when he got involved with, I can't remember the organization, and they thought he was a political individual, but he wasn't. He was just helping represent certain groups. And it's in a couple of videos back that I've done about Elvis leading up to this. So that whole FBI keeping tabs on him, who doesn't the FBI keep tabs on nowadays? You know what I'm saying? FBI agents are keeping tabs on each other. You know what I'm saying?
The FBI's extensive file on Presley contains a death threat sent through the mail in 1956, as well as confirmations of threats made to Presley and his associates in the 1970s.
All right, first things first. Fisher sent me this interactive mirror to test for a few months so I could do my review. But just
one of them. It's a good mirror.
For decades, Colonel Tom Parker claimed to be a good old boy from Huntington, West Virginia, who ran off to join the circus as a youth, which is where he picked up an ever so slight European accent. Despite making enemies left and right in the music business, no one seemed to mind where this carnival barker came from, as long as the money kept rolling in. The movie Elvis is told from Parker's perspective, and weighted by the revelations about his life that only came to light after Presley's death. It wasn't until the early 1980s that it became widely known that Parker was actually Andreas Cornelius van Koop, a Dutch immigrant who had briefly served in the U.S. Army but had never become a naturalized citizen. He fled from the Netherlands in 1929, possibly after being implicated in a murder, and he still had family in Europe.
What? He fled from the Netherlands, but what led up to
Dutch
that?
immigrant who had briefly served in the U.S. Army but had never become a naturalized citizen. He fled from the Netherlands in 1929, possibly after being implicated in a murder, and he still had family in Europe that he had broken all contact with. The filmmakers know all of these things and assume that the audience does as well, which is perhaps why Tom Hanks affects a thick Dutch accent throughout the movie.
We are the same, you and I. We are two odd, lonely children.
In the film, things finally come to a head between Presley and Parker in 1974. An anonymous letter reveals the truth about Parker, from his illegal status to the fact that he essentially sold Elvis to the International Hotel in exchange for unlimited credits on the casino floor. An overcome Elvis collapses backstage before a show and is given a shot of amphetamines to revive him at Parker's command. Once on stage, the singer fires Parker in full view of the audience. However, this never happened in real life, with writer Alana Nash telling Variety, Elvis would never have been so crass as to have fired.
So, why document something that never actually took place? Like, why spread that? Why put that in someone's storyline, someone's story history? If something never really happened, to make your movie better, you're going to falsify some events? You're going to partake in fabricating the truth? Like, is that part of journalism? Doing docu-series? I mean, it's not a docu-series, but it's documentation, a documentary upon someone's life. Something took place. Now you're going to spread false news. Call it false media, propaganda. Like that. I don't want to know what's going to happen to my legacy when I go. You hear me?
Real life, with writer Alana.
Yeah, it never happened in real life. We know.
Amphetamines to revive him at Parker's command.
Fell out, gave him methamphetamine or revived him, gave him that kind of mess, and then gave him back up, this, that, and third. maybe it's true and they telling us that it's not true. There's going to be individuals in the comments going to say, well, this happened at this time because that happened at this. When I get information in the description, I read the stuff because I want to know, you know, about the individuals that I'm doing research on. But it's like, you take bits and pieces of information from people, and then you do your research, and then you know, come together collectively on what you have gathered to build your analysis on a certain individual. Okay.
Once on stage, the singer fires Parker in full view of the audience. However, this never happened in real life, with writer Alana Nash telling Variety, Elvis would never have been so crass as to have fired Colonel from the stage.
That part.
The extent of Presley's addiction to prescription drugs wouldn't come to light until after his untimely death at the age of 42 of a heart attack that was likely caused by his persistent substance abuse. He had a reliance on amphetamines or uppers to keep.
I reference a lot towards Elvis and my mom, and y'all probably like, how does any of that relate? To me, I do content on things that relates, okay? Whether it resonate with some of you guys, and it, you know, it may not. Most times, some of the stuff that I say, it doesn't, because certain things pertain to me, and I don't do it intentionally. It's just what I'm picking up on this journey that makes it so relatable. I'm saying that to say this. A lot of the videos I have documented have been between the years 70 and 73. And I always say, oh, look, yeah, this is the year my mother was born. Now they're saying how he passed at 42, which I didn't know that until now, which is the age my mother passed away. She was born in 73 and died in 82. Although I know Elvis wasn't born in 73. I'm just saying what relates to me that I keep picking up, that I grasp. And I'm just presenting that to y'all because y'all are getting to know me, know the back history of who I am. You know what I'm saying? And where I come from. And here we are today. You know what I mean? Living in present time, speaking past tense. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on the futuristic things to take place. You dig what I'm saying?
Keep up with his daunting tour schedule and barbiturates or downers to help him sleep, especially in the last decade of his life. While it's never been confirmed exactly how early in his career the drug use began, the movie establishes that Presley's pill habit began on the singer's very first backwoods tour in 1955. In 1979, the New York Times quoted anonymous sources speculating that Presley's pill habit began in the 1950s, possibly due to Presley's religious aversion to alcohol. As a result, the musician allegedly felt that prescription drugs were more legitimate than street narcotics. Another rumor is that he was snatching his mother's diet pills long before that. According to Presley biographer Peter Joralnik, it was a fellow soldier who introduced Elvis to amphetamines during his 2-year stint in the Army from 1958 to 1960. The truth about when Elvis's drug use really started remains unknown. If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction issues, help is available. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP 4357.
Looper. Okay, guys, that's the video. And I like, look, let's see the infinity symbol and the O's and how they place them together. Well, take notice to this symbol on my hair. I can't really see it, but it says Infinite Lifestyle. This is my brand. This was before YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It goes with Infinite J. That's where Infinite J comes at. But this is my logo, which I made. And on the back, it says Coach J. Because I am a soccer coach to my children, which came after the fact doing YouTube. I was a coach for wellness and nutrition and also nutritional products at one point, which I still partake in personally. I just don't do the sessions anymore with the groups or one-on-one coaching. I now do coaching as a soccer coach. So it's interesting that popped up, more relatable information on the content channel as Infinite J with Infinite J TV. See how things work out, you know what I mean? Because I believe in the universe, you know what I mean? I believe in a higher power, a higher calling, higher entity other than myself. And then Infinite Lifestyle happened to be my brand that I came up with years ago when I was out in the labor field. It was a passion. Matter of fact, it was a dream of mine. I woke up one day and I was actually I want to say Memphis. I really wanted to say I was in Memphis, but I can't say exactly that I was in Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm not saying because I'm doing Elvis content. It probably could have been, but I cannot remember the geographic location where I was working at the time. But I know it wasn't in Texas. But what I did know was that I didn't want to do that job or career path anymore. And I told myself, if I want to do something different, it's going to start with the change. It's going to start with me. So I went to dream with it on my conscience, and I woke up with it saying, you know what? I'm going to make the phone call, and I'm going to make it possible to where I'll live the life that I want, which now I'm living what I spoke on, which is having this community and having this channel and being engaged with you guys, and then having the freedom to be with my kids and pick them up from school and be a coach to their team. Because I didn't have the time to do that at one point in my life. I was constrained and restricted, you know what I mean, to a job. I was sold out, you know what I mean? I was sold out to a job. And moving forward, I got off that particular job occupation and I started following my dream, and hence this is where Infinite Lifestyle come from. A number of other videos I have my merch on. I definitely will be selling Infinite Lifestyle merch, but I'm focusing on the channel, the community right now, Infinite J's TV, and that's where we are. If y'all want to see it, let's see if I can set J on the back. So that's what the outside world sees the Coach J, and then you guys see Infinite J. So regardless, it's your man J. You dig what I'm saying? So wish I could see it better. There you go. A little better. Infinite Lifestyle. It's IL. Of course, our camera's backwards. Yeah. And I have primarily every color. The yellow one is on my shoulder. The blue one's all here. The grays, dark gray, light gray. I don't have green. Anyways, pretty much every color besides like green and purple and pink. But I will have those for individuals who want it. They will be Infinite J merch instead of, it'll be Infinite J TV, or, you know, we'll come up with that tribe, Infinite J's tribe, you know? So without further ado, if you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment down in the description what you guys want to see next. I will be getting back to most of you guys out there. I have been sporadically engaging with y'all when I find some downtime. I don't look at it as downtime. I'm like, nope, let me engage with my people. So I engage with you guys as much as possible. And it's not selective. I'm not selecting people. It's at random. When I see it pop up, I'm like, hey, boom, let me. So sometimes comments will come in and I don't see those until I go searching for comments. So don't think that I'm ignoring you guys who don't get a response. I do my best to respond back to you guys. Lately, it's just been an overflow of work here, work outside of here, work outside of coaching. So yeah, I'm coming to a point where I can do this full time and be subtle, and we're gonna start rocking together. So I'll start going live, and that's what I'm waiting to do. You know what I mean? So also turn on your post notification bells. And before you guys do that, please hit the red subscription button. It takes 2 seconds, doesn't cost anything. You'll be doing the community a favor. And I want to thank everybody that helped this channel go up. You know, back the beginning, we started small and now we're growing. We're still small. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to become bigger. Now we're getting big. So thank you guys, everybody. So as always, it's your man, Infinite J. Peace, love, respect, and positivity. Until next time.